Well, God bless you. Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we are in a new year.
Yes,
How about that?
2019 year has come and gone, and now everybody's in a position to make New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, and we know people have a lot of those.
Yeah, people have a lot of those, and hopefully it can get them jump-started for a new year.
Absolutely, and we certainly thank you all for being with us for the entire year right here on Real People, Real Voices. We also want to encourage you to go to YouTube and become a subscriber, watch this show when it's over, as well as others that you might have missed. You can watch this show on Sundays at 5:30.
Right, Sundays at 5:30 and on
Fridays at 9:30.
At 9:30. That's every week.
Every week.
Every week, Real People, Real Voices are coming into your home, and we hope you will continue to make us a staple in your television viewing.
Yeah, and go to Facebook.
Yeah, you'll like us there.
Like us on Facebook.
Yeah, like us on Facebook and enjoy us and give comments that will encourage us to keep doing what we're doing.
So we're excited about you being here. We've got some great things for you. I want to thank our sponsors, Lee, Costle, and Claudia.
And Fervent Care Christian Academy. It's a good place to get your children started in clean Christian learning environment.
317-898-2751. Stay with us. We have a lot to share with you. We'll be back after this. Well, welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we are joined by Ms. Rochelle Hankins. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure to have you, and you are the president and CEO of Shelley Shines Books.
Mm-hmm.
And we're excited about your new book. Mm-hmm. And we want you to talk about it. The new book, it's a beautiful book here, Shelley and the Bee.
Well,
how that came about.
Shelley actually is the lightning bug that didn't know she shines and didn't know she flies. And so throughout this series of Shelley adventures, is she discovers her light. And so once you discover your light, you're really looking to share that light and really look to see where people need help. And so when Shelley's just on a journey, just out wandering, she sees this bee and he's just floundering in the puddle, and she's like, "Bee, do you need help?" And he's like, "I don't need any help," as he feels like he's drowning. So she's helping him several times to get out of the water, and she couldn't understand why somebody would just say they didn't need help. Well, the whole thing I believe in life is that there's so many times where God packed us perfectly for our gifts, and we need to unpack our gifts. But we need each other to serve the whole. And so really she's out making friends with Benny to explain to him that possibly you'd be looking in the wrong direction, but when you're looking for pollen in the water, you're not going to find it there.
Right.
But she had friends that could show where the pollen is, and so that she could actually help him to kind of move in a new direction to really reach his goals, and they did it together.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
How long have you been writing?
I have been writing for 6 years, and there's 4 children's books in this series.
Really?
And so it's really about the adventures of really expanding your light and really understanding that it's my light to your light to your light to a community light to a world of light. And my belief is it's just a little shift from me to we.
Wow.
Right. That's interesting. A little shift.
Just a little one.
Some of us think it's a larger shift than that, but it's just a small shift. That's something to think about.
So one of the things that you talk about is knowing your strengths.
Yeah.
And where do you find the strength, the, I guess, artistic strength to write as you do?
You know, as I shared, is I've been from a very abusive background, and my dad was an alcoholic. My parents were divorced 3 times, and I found 2 lovely men that were continuing to be abusers, and I lost myself. And during that time, I kept asking God, what is it you want from me? You know, I'm a nurse. I want to do your will. And he showed me very clearly, like I have a passion for people and helping each person to understand who you are. And so what all my job is to help shine. And then I've actually been given the words by God on each journey of how do we become a team, because it's one God, one world, one love. And so all these are little steps to help kids, and as parents and as ministers and whoever's sharing the stories is helping us to know that we're in it together.
Tell us about the mission work you're doing.
It's called Tummies, Minds, and Spirits. And the first initiative was in Cape Town, South Africa. And basically, I really realized that you have to feed tummies. And I partner a lot with churches and communities to make sure tummies are fed. And the Shelley work really works on your mind. It's really helping us to unpack what's in there because we're just supposed to do what everyone tells us to do. We go to school, we have all these schedules and everything is so rote. So what Tummies Minds is helping people to take a breath, sit back, and really take time to know God, know yourself, understand what you're created for, and that you are great and you are unique just because you are. And then spirits, in my experiences, if we feed the tummies, we unleash the mind and the power of one, the spirit expands.
I agree with that.
And that is exactly why I founded the initiative, because my passion is again, if I'm giving these stories, then I can maybe inspire you to know that you have it too. It's just me, that you can change the world if each of us shine.
Tell us about the well.
Well, wow. I had a full ride scholarship to go to Phuket, Thailand, which is just a dream come true in itself. And it was for a global entrepreneur school. And got to go to a village there, and it was an orphanage. And I got to share my books, and it was so exciting. And the coolest thing is the kids were like, oh, that's you. That's you. And it's so fun that, you think it's just a book, right? But it was like, then they got to have something that they owned. But when I went there and I discovered, because all the work I've done in the last 7 years is more about tummies, about food and hunger. But there it was about water. They didn't have clothes. They don't have enough clean water to wash their own clothes. The government does the best they can to get in water to drink, but they don't have enough. And one little guy, I didn't know what was on his skin. I'm like, I'm a nurse by trade, and I was like, what's on your skin? And they said, it's a bacteria infection from the water. And I was like, how much does it cost to build a well? It was $6,000. I'm like, in our world, that's nothing. So I've been back 2 weeks, and I've got $350. We're rolling there. But my goal is I don't know by when, but God's time is we're going to have a well for the kids in Phuket.
Do you have a
Thailand.
website that they can contact?
I do. It's Tummies, Minds, and Spirits, and they're all S's.com.
Do that again. Say that again.
Tummies, Minds, Spirits.
.com.
And there's a place where you can donate. And right now the big push is the well.
Now, can they get there by the ShelleyShines.com?
And ShelleyShines.com will talk about Tummies, Minds, and Spirits too. And just so you know, anyone that supports the Shelley Adventure Stories, a portion of all the books goes back to the foundation. And so, what we do is we work with mostly not-for-profits and NGOs around the world to try to help fund. And right now, I'm just a little light, but it's expanding. And I do think that we were chatting earlier that this has been a big growing year. And I just think that if all of us keep growing and walking through the fear and having courage, it all will come to pass.
Yeah.
It'll come together.
It'll come together.
Yeah. So tummiesmindsspirits.com.
Yes.
And we're going to make sure that that's on the screen there,
Right.
so that people can help you out.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
They can give right there on
Right there
the
online.
website.
Yeah. Donate button.
Donate. Exactly.
And will they be able to see the cause and all
They
that?
will. They will. And
Tummy Minds Spirit. www.tummiesmindsspirits.com.
yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Or well.
Well,
And that right now, what the biggest need is when you realize that kids don't have clean water, something's wrong with our world.
Yeah.
and
so-
adults as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what. And I said, just going to see that the orphanage was founded after the tsunami, and then how many people were without parents. And honestly, the other thing is that people went crazy. And I think, what is it that we can do together so that we can help support each other and give people options and choices? There's so much depression. And I just said, for me, it's like I consider us light workers on God, right? We're on task for Him. And it's how do we show up creatively in the darkness so that we can show our love and support.
And our light as well.
And our light, our God.
Well, thank you for all the outstanding work.
Thank you.
All the best, and we're praying for your success.
God's blessing me daily.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So stay with us. Be sure to go to that website. We have more to come. We'll be back after this. Well, welcome back, and we hope that you enjoyed those commercials. We also want to thank our sponsors.
Yes, Lee Costa and Crawley for sponsoring us going into a brand new year. Not only that, the Fervent Care Christian Academy has been with us from inception of this show, going with us into another year. If you have a desire to be a sponsor of Real People, Real Voices, just contact the station and tell them you want to be a sponsor for Real People, Real Voices, and we'll make sure you be connected. You will be connected to us.
And we're connected to Miss Kim Harvey today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And you're here to talk about your book and also about anti-bullying in schools.
Yes.
So talk to us about your interest there and how you got involved.
Okay. My mother and I formed Angels and Doves 10 years ago. And our passion was to embrace children of all ages that are being bullied in their schools. It is happening in every school. You know, it's happened for years, and unfortunately, it's just gotten worse. And I've traveled across the country speaking in schools to children, again, of all ages about the effects of basically disliking each other and hating each other and being unkind to one another. It's something that we have to intervene in, and it's something that we also have to help protect our children, whether they're in preschool or they're 18 years old. We have to be informed and we have to help.
What precipitated all of this for you?
My mother actually had seen some really disturbing stories on HLN and CNN about very young children actually taking their own lives. And I could barely believe that it was happening, but it was. And again, this was 10 years ago. And this subject was being talked about more openly than it is now because now people are really afraid to talk about it. They're afraid of liability in the schools and, you know, lawsuits and things of that nature. So sometimes you don't hear about it as much as you used to. So when my mother saw these things happening, she came to me. We both had years of experience working with children. I'm a youth leader at my church. My mother had an incredible passion for autistic children and just a real easy way of working with autistic children. So we took the passion and our backgrounds and we started Angels and Doves, which is a 501c3.
Wow. Where have you been able to take Angels and Doves? You said all across the country.
Yeah. So for one story, as an example, I've since lost my mother, which is really hard. But several years ago, Mom and I traveled to South Florida, and we went to some really, really what I would call rough schools that were behind chain link fences, and they were pretty tough schools. And my mom and I went there, and we worked with the children, and we got nothing but hugs and so endearing and so wonderful. It was a great experience, but you know, I think some people might be afraid to have done what we did, and it was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in your book, you talk about some solutions.
Yeah, this little book is great. You know, sometimes small can be mighty. This book is pretty short, but we took this book to show, you know, the story of bullying, and then it's a fill-in-the-blank journal in the back so that children can actually write down when something is bothering them. So it gives them the opportunity to journal. Now, we know that kids are not going to write in this every single day. But on the days when they're crying and they're too afraid to get on their bus because somebody's going to beat them up on the school bus, which I have a situation right now happening right now in a school right in Indianapolis right now. And so this book will help walk them through it, and it also gives them a safe place. It's kind of like their own teddy bear, you know, or their own secret PAL or their own diary to actually share these emotions that are really harming them.
And you've got a T-shirt here. How can people get some of the T-shirts?
Well, they can go right to angelsanddoves.com. And these shirts, we trademarked our logo and our name many years ago, 10 years ago when we started. And you know, the thing about these shirts is that it gives us unity to show that we are fighting a cause together. So whether you're a first grader or an eighth grader or a parent or a pastor or just a passerby, when you've got this shirt on, it shows everybody else that you're saying we're not going to tolerate one of our own children being bullied. That's what it says.
Wow. And we've got about 3 minutes left. A lot of times, you'll have a kid who is the kid that's doing the bullying. And generally, you know, Dr. Moore, you're welcome to say, stop being a bully.
Right.
How effective is that, or what is the proper way to do
You know,
it?
he
Oh,
was-
right.
No, I was just giving an example. I was just giving an example.
Yeah, we friends.
We do that. We do that.
Yeah.
We say that to, you know, children on the playground or whatever.
Listen, typically when a child is bullying, they really don't want to be the bully. They're being bullied by somebody else.
So they're just acting out what they've experienced.
They're acting out and they're trying to put themselves in a position of balanced power, okay? None of us want to be controlled negatively, so we all look for that balance of power to put ourselves back in control. That's all a bully is doing. They're looking for that balance again. So our program gives the kids the opportunity to become a leader, a bull. And as a bull, they become a leader in their school or their neighborhood or their apartment complex or their church.
Wow.
And then they can help other kids say no to bullying. And most bullies choose to become one of our leaders because they'd rather have a positive leadership role rather than a negative leadership role. Interesting.
Reverse roles.
Yeah, it's psychologically based. Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting,
Yeah.
where you take the bull out of bullying and
Yes.
turn that person into a leader.
Exactly.
Because they have some leadership
Skills.
skills in
They
there.
do.
And they don't recognize it.
Yeah, they don't even know it because nobody's given them that
Because
opportunity.
of the stigma
Yeah.
that has been tagged to their name.
That's why we need the education about what I'm talking about right now in our schools so that the leaders and the educators will know the same information.
So if we have educators or school administrators watching now, would it be safe to say they could contact you
Absolutely.
to
Yes.
bring your program into their school?
Yes, that's what we choose to do. We try to get out to as many schools as possible and reach the masses 364 days a year.
What about a parent that might be watching?
We love for the parents to get involved. We love for them to be the volunteers so that we can educate them and they can further educate more students on their own time as well.
And if a parent has a child who is a bully, would the parent be able to reach out to you and
Give us
get
a
some
call.
help? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Give us that number again.
It's 317-870-1100.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Just again, that camera there, let them know that the number to call.
317-870-1100.
Take the bull out of bullying.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, outstanding.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best. We're
Appreciate
praying
it.
for your success.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stay with us. We'll be back with the rundown. Well, welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Co-host Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm Sherry Pick Davis, your producer.
Sherry, thank you for the work you put into the broadcast. We appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate the opportunity, and it's been a pleasure being able to work with you all.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, what do you think about the guests that we just had?
I thought the two guests that you had were very good. Their information that they wanted to share was very good. One about being the light, and the other about bullying, which are very timely conversations that we need to be having today.
You ever been bullied?
I have, as a matter of fact, in high school. And so I was in kind of maybe around the 10th grade or 11th grade, and it was a girl, and she was much taller than I was. And I remember going home telling my mother, about it. And my mom, she got all her degrees off TV and commercials. So she taught me a little karate, and she told me when I go back to school and when it happens again, this is what I should do. But of course, I was a quiet, shy, introverted child. I didn't do any of that. But I can remember a time when I was.
Wow.
I was.
Well, both of these ladies are authors, two good books, the Anti-Bullying and certainly the Shelley series with the Be and Letting Our Light Shine.
Right.
And I think that people can really get a lot of value out of what was shared on today if they apply the information.
What I like about Miss Hankins' books is that they come out of her experience. She is a two-time abusive woman out of two relationships. And to see her and to hear her talk is phenomenal. You could never tell that she was in a shady place or a dark place in her life.
Right.
And people need to be very cognizant of the fact that wherever you are, with the help of the Lord Jesus Christ, you can come out of it.
Yeah.
And she's doing a phenomenal work, from an abused woman now to a great missionary.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of things to help generate dollars for mankind.
Yeah, with the well
Yeah.
there, and just a lot of wonderful people doing a lot of wonderful things. Kim Harvey making herself available
Right.
to people who have the bullying problem.
Right.
So we have a lot of resources here.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you all for watching. Avail yourself to all these resources. You can go to YouTube, subscribe to the WHMB TV 40 YouTube channel. Also go to Facebook and like us there, and we'll see you next time.